makes
I said to my son, who's never been to any Greek association, and mainly it's my fault. And I'll tell you why it's my fault. I'm a founding member of the Federation, the Greek-Canadian Federation, a founding member of the Hellenic Canadian Congress, a member of the board of the Greek community, and several other associations. I fought to have what we have here today many years ago. Unfortunately, I was a single voice at that time. We failed. That's why you're here today, because we have nobody to pass on anything. Because we wanted to bring our children in our organizations and tell them what to do. And once they came once, they saw me or heard me fight with Lefteris, either about Greek politics or something irrelevant for our children. So they never came back. We never made it worthwhile why they should become our successors. And I think the Kastoria Society can be the example for the entire Greek-Canadian community. If we create a shell of people that are interested for their own purposes, don't ask me or Lefteris or the board of directors what you want to do. Find out why and if it's worth doing it. Is it networking, business purpose, heritage, knowing your roots? They say, you know, if you know your roots, you're going to be happy where you're going. And that's true of every society. Look at the Jewish community. They hardly speak Hebrew, but they're so well organized about everything, in their occupations, in their religion, in charity work, in the sciences. And we come very close, but we're not as well organized. And I think I love the idea that a steering committee of 3 people that have more the flame in them to do this and call the rest of the other youth that are out there somewhere. But if you start this, you decide whether it's worth doing it. And I think it is. I mean, we fought to create the Pan-Macedonia Association. I was the president of this Pan-Macedonia Association, as Lefteris was. I mean, we're old-timers, but we had other problems. You know, to assimilate, to find a profession, to grow a family, other things, settlement issues, language issues. So we made a lot of mistakes, but you're all professionals. Like I met today for the first time, occupational therapist who is soon to graduate from Queens, a high school teacher, you know, at East York. And if I can go around the table, my son is a former municipal prosecutor and soon to be in business for legal service providing. And if I go around the table, I'm sure I'll find others who'll say, why not? I can communicate with these people, you know, on every level, not only the language, but for business purposes, but for the heritage aspect as well, because I can make my own children and grandchildren a lot happier, just like the Jewish communities do. I'm a justice of the peace now, and I have a lot of Jewish colleagues in the justice system. I envy them, the way they work. They have their own fights for other reasons, but I envy them because the youth is in every synagogue, in every charity they have, in every business association. And that's why they're very successful. So I think it's very worthwhile. I'm sorry that I took so much time, but I just told you the reason why I forced almost my son to come here today. But I'm glad that the way he's reacting today, I think he's pleased that he did come tonight. And good luck if you decide to continue. Thank you, Lieutenant.
What Bill recommended or suggested is that perhaps the people, like business-wise, you can help each other. I'll just give you an example of myself. Many of you know Gas Glisuras. When I became a teacher here in the Toronto board, I was the first Greek teacher, or teacher from Greece, who became a teacher here. And there was a lady from Sparta the next year. Her name was Fotini, and to this day, I have not met her, but she called me a couple of times. When we started teaching, we had a lot of young people who were in our schools, Greek origin. it's good to be a teacher. We would recommend that to them. And gradually we would help them out, even with preparing them for the interviews that they would have when they would get a job and stuff like that. And I believe the Greek Teachers Association right now still exists, and a lot of these people help each other. So I hope that some of you or all of you will decide to be part of this group. And I don't know whether it should be 3 or 5 people that will join the group and work with it. And I would just have one thing. I remember way back, us older people would come up with 5 ideas and say, okay, to the young people, you select the one you want. Well, it shouldn't be that way. It should be perhaps the younger people should come up with all the ideas, because they're the ones that matter to them. And I would just read this to you. Why involve youth? Okay, because we know our needs best. If you could tell us the last name as well.
Adzamis.
I will.
Sorry.
There you go.
Adzamis. 2 things brought me through the door today. One is, I've been in the Kastoria in the last 5 years, every single summer. This last year when I had the year off, I was there in the fall as well, which was an amazing experience. I felt like I actually, I was away from my now wife for about 5 or 6 weeks, which was really difficult. It was an amazing thing. So what brought me in the door today was part of just having that connection of where my parents lived, and I spent summers there, and I spent the fall there, and they still have a home back in Greece. But the other thing that brought me here today is through my job, I think I've really come to notice that a lot of people, for a whole host of reasons, the economy being one of them, are starting to come to Canada from Greece. And I've noticed that as a guidance counselor because I've registered lots of Greek families. I remember being at Young and Bloor one day, and I ran into a family that a simple thing, they just didn't know how to get around the TTC, and I helped them, and they were so appreciative. And I think a lot of our parents, it was talked about earlier about how they got supported when they first came to Canada. I really think the number one thing that has me here today is we have a moral imperative. There are people coming from Greece, from northern Greece, from Athens, from wherever it may be, to Canada, and I think we need to step up as an organization and make ourselves visible so we can say there's somewhere for these people to connect with us, just as a starting point. I don't know how much their help they're going to need, but you're going to need somebody initially to open a door. So I think there is a moral imperative. That's the number one reason that I came through the door today. So I'm really excited that you guys are asking. I will give my name for sure, because I'm definitely keen on this.
That's a good one.
John Tsatsos, who's involved in the formation of this wonderful association. And I echo the sentiments of all of you. I feel a connection to this association, to Greece. Whenever I go back to Greece and I go to my father's village, even though I wasn't born there's a connection. However, I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, but I also want us to be realistic about this. And I know we have a lot of ideas and people are energetic, but I think, and I'm only suggesting that we start small and sort of work our way up and gain momentum that way, as opposed to sort of planning hundreds of things and then failing at it. So I'm behind the association and the youth, or whatever we want to call it, 100%. But I also think that we should be realistic and not have stars in our eyes and start small, and slowly work our way up and gain momentum that way. Thank you.
Okay.
Stella? Stella? Vicky? Vicky, alla dos. And again, once you write your email and phone number, and name, you can go. Thank you very much for coming.
Terrible.